I just got a foot scrub, but not in the way that you think. And I wanted to record this episode while I am still feeling what I'm feeling, just so that I don't lose momentum, so that I use this to fuel what I want to do today. And that is to record my first episode of this podcast. Okay, so first of all, I need to tell you that I am in Goa, in India, and I'm sitting on my bed and you can hear my little baby in the background. But we're doing this because we've been procrastinating starting this podcast for the last few months, and well, it's finally here, and I have decided I'm going to do this. If I don't do this now, then when, right? So on to the story. About 10 days ago, I was with my two little girls, my 6-year-old and my 4-year-old, on a scooter, coming back from their music classes. And as I was coming down the slope, there's a lot of like roadworks and things going on here at the moment. So there's a lot of like loose gravel and mud and things lying around. And I was coming down a slope. It was an internal road. So to save petrol, I put the engine off. And I mean, to save petrol or to have fun, whatever you call it, because we like going down slopes with the engine off, and we've done it like so many times before and nothing's ever happened. But this time, for some reason, there was gravel right at the turn, and as I was going down, I pressed the brakes because you don't want to spiral out of control, right? But with the gravel on the road, the bike skidded rather, and we fell. I fell face down. Didn't know it at that time, but I broke my nose and had quite a few cuts and scrapes all over my body, and one particularly bad wound to my leg. My daughter's, the one who was in the front, she got a few scrapes on her hands and on her ear as well, and my older daughter just got a small little cut on her leg. So all in all, we were okay, and I was really, really grateful in that moment that we were all alive, that we were well, and that we escaped with just, a few bruises. I was also grateful in that moment that the car that was coming in front of us saw us and stopped, and that there was no cars or bikes coming behind us, and so we were okay, like nothing else banged into us and made the situation worse. I was also grateful that my daughters screamed and screamed in that moment, because that called the attention of the neighbors, who came immediately. They helped us. Basically I had so many things to be grateful for, right, in that moment. I was able to call up my family, and my brother and my sister-in-law came immediately, because they lived it was quite close to where we were staying, to my parents' house, and they came immediately. They took us to the hospital, showed the doctor, got all of the basic first aid stuff done. So it's been 10 days. Why am I telling the story now? Well, because 10 days on and my wound hasn't healed. In the last few days, there's been a lot of pain, and this crust that has formed on my leg wound seems to have gotten infected. So my mom and my sister-in-law were like, you need to go to the health center, get this checked out, and they're probably going to have to take off the dead skin, the crust that has formed, and you might have to get on antibiotics again and blah blah. So I was like, okay, let's do this. So my sister-in-law very kindly took me to the health center, and then started the torture, because the nurse started she started scrubbing my wound. And when I say scrubbing, I mean literally scrubbing. Imagine having steel wool, or like a really coarse scrubber that you wash your dishes with, the ones that you use when the dirt does not come out. You imagine that on your skin, and now imagine that on an open wound. So like raw flesh, and imagine that kind of pain. And this nurse just literally scrubbed off the skin and I am screaming in pain. In that moment, I'm thinking, I've had 5 babies, I should be able to bear this or whatever. And I do have a high tolerance for pain, but this was pretty bad. And in that moment, the nurse turns around to my sister-in-law and says to her, "You knew that she was going to cry so much? Is that why you came with her?" And oh my god, I was so annoyed, because I just thought to myself, or rather, I was in my head, I was thinking to say to her, "Would you like me to return the favor? Would you like me to scrub your skin?" Like, what is that supposed to mean? Like, why was I not allowed to cry or to feel pain or to react in the way that I did? In any case, I came home and I just found my baby, my 7-month-old baby. I just held her like a human pillow, and I just hugged her, and I cried and I cried and I cried. And I allowed myself to cry, which is the important thing here, right? Because we are so used to, like, we live in a culture that is just so averse to showing emotion, showing pain, and showing weakness. And then all of that trauma quite often stays inside our body, and which is, I think, I don't know, it's something that we need to change, and to break that narrative, to break that the shame around it. So also in that moment, I felt this sense of, I should not be feeling sorry for myself. I don't want to feel sorry for myself. But then I just thought, you know what? I will allow myself 5 minutes of feeling sorry for myself. And then and when I allowed myself to do that for those 5 minutes, not to drag on, I felt better. And then suddenly this burst of inspiration of, the foot scrub. And I just thought, well, I can take this on with a pinch of humor, and I can let's do this. Let's record. Let's use this momentum and this feeling that I have, this strong feeling, to actually do something that I've been procrastinating doing for a long time, and that is starting this podcast. So, lessons learned through this experience. Number 1, gratitude in the moment, even though things were pretty shit, but I was grateful for the positive things. 2, allowing myself to grieve, allowing myself to cry, allowing myself to feel sorry for myself in that moment, and not constantly try to be strong mentally and emotionally. And using my strong feelings or emotions or momentum, or the lessons of the day, or whatever I've learned, to actually fuel my passion, to fuel this in doing this podcast, or things that I'm procrastinating about. And just the thing that keeps coming to me at the moment is how bad stuff happens to good people all the time. And but this belief that I have, and that I'm sure many of you have as well, is that God turns everything to good. So all the bad things that happen in life, God can take any of those situations and turn it into something good. And that keeps coming back, and because we are a reflection of Him, and we are His sons and daughters, we can also do the same. We can also look at a bad situation and look at the good things in that situation, or turn it to good, and let Him turn our bad situations into something good. So that's all for my first episode, and I will leave you with those thoughts. And thank you so much for listening, and have a great day. Bye.